Okay, let's just jump right in. We've all been there, right? Seen someone fall, and maybe, chuckled.
It happens.
It's this really common thing, almost instinctual sometimes. But why? That's what we're looking at today.
Exactly. We're doing a deep dive into this idea, drawing from the comedy of falling to sort of unpack the reasons.
Yeah, what's really going on there?
And our goal is really just to give you, the listener, a clear, quick grasp without getting bogged down.
Great. So first off, we should say, obviously, falling isn't always funny. It can be serious.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You think about older people or kids or health issues,
Yep.
definitely not a laughing matter then.
Right. And people react differently, too. Sometimes it's instant concern, not amusement.
Yeah.
We need to acknowledge that balance.
For sure. But when it is funny or when we react with laughter, what's triggering that? Our source digs into this.
Okay, so what's the first piece?
Well, the big one seems to be surprise. We just don't expect people to suddenly, lose balance and go down.
Right. We operate on this assumption that people will stay upright while walking.
Exactly. So a fall is this sudden, unexpected break from the norm. It violates that basic expectation.
And that suddenness, that's key. It kind of jolts you.
It does. Which leads to the second point, shock. There's that initial, whoa moment.
Yeah.
But then, crucially, if you quickly see the person isn't actually hurt, that shock can kind of
Flip into.
amusement. Especially if the fall itself is a bit awkward or clumsy looking. The timing, the setting, how it happens.
I see. So the brain goes, unexpected event. Assess threat. Okay, no threat. Huh. That was weirdly executed.
Sort of, yeah. It's like our brain flags this mismatch, what happened versus what should happen, and if it's harmless, it can register as, well, funny.
Okay, that makes sense. The awkward flail definitely adds to it sometimes. Which brings us to the injury part.
Yes, injury status. This is critical. It sounds obvious, but laughter is much, much more likely if the person is clearly okay.
There's a relief element there, isn't there?
Huge. Seeing someone get up, maybe brush themselves off, even if they look a bit embarrassed,
Right.
that confirms it's okay to find it funny. The danger has passed.
Right. The embarrassment almost feeds into the comedic aspects sometimes.
It can, and that connects to the fourth factor. The person's facial expression, how they react, influences us.
Ah, interesting. So if they look furious or like they're in agony.
Laughter dies pretty quick.
Right.
Nobody finds that funny.
No.
But if they pop up with a sheepish grin or look of just pure confusion, like, what just happened?
Then it feels more okay to laugh.
It can definitely amplify the humor, yeah. It's a social cue. Their reaction gives us permission, in a way.
Okay, so let's recap. We've got the surprise, the unexpectedness, then that initial shock shifting to amusement if there's no real harm,
Right, the relief factor.
driven home by seeing they're okay, and maybe even their own slightly bemused or embarrassed reaction.
Exactly. It all comes together. It suggests it's less about being mean and more about how we process these weird, harmless disruptions and the social signals around them.
So maybe think about that. Next time you see someone trip, or even if you trip yourself, what goes through your head?
Yeah, was it concern? A quick laugh? Why do you think you reacted that way?
And here's a funny thought from the source. If you are the one who falls, apparently managing a calm smile might actually lighten the mood for everyone involved.
Huh. Maybe worth a try. But ultimately, looking at the comedy of falling this way shows laughter isn't necessarily cruel.
No, it seems much more complex.
It's this blend of surprise, relief, and the sheer physical comedy of an unexpected stumble.
It kind of highlights how we're all a bit precarious, doesn't it? A bit fragile, maybe a bit clumsy, and yeah, sometimes unintentionally funny.
It really does capture that fragility and humor of just being human.
So, a final thought to leave you with. Next time you witness one of those minor tumbles, just observe. Notice your own reaction. Notice others.
And see if you can spot those elements. We talked about the surprise, the relief check, the reactions. It's kind of fascinating when you look for it.